Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Well, we know you're busy and appreciate you choosing to spend time with us. We will do our very best to make the next hour as productive for you as possible. My name is David Ronald, and I'm the Director of Marketing at Foxit Software. I'll be your host. We are joined by Mike Spang, Vice President of Research at Harvey Spencer Associates. Welcome, Mike. We also have Karsten Harman, CEO of Foxit Europe, joining us. Welcome, Karsten. And last and definitely not least, we have Dan Morris, Senior Solutions Architect at Foxit Software. Hello, Dan.
Hey, great to be here.
Many of you will already be familiar with Harvey Spencer Associates, but for those of you who are not, here is a summary of the value they bring to our industry. Harvey Spencer Associates Consulting focuses on the technologies used to create, understand, and extract meaningful, usable information from analog-based, semi, and unstructured data sets. The company's services include market analysis, technology planning, assistance, and strategic planning. And for more information, we invite you to go to the website. Mike Spang is the Vice President of Research at HSA, and we're very, very pleased that he's agreed to be with us today. The four of us have spent quite a bit of time discussing an agenda for today's webinar and we hope we've come up with an agenda that will provide something for everybody in the audience. There are four distinctly different sections. Mike will get things started by reviewing trends in document capture, an area that Harvey Spencer Associates is very well qualified to talk about. Then I will step in and provide a brief overview of Foxit Software and explain how we're helping to address the trends that Mike will tee up. Then Karsten will provide some examples of customers who are benefiting from using Foxit solutions. And then Dan will wrap things up by providing a demonstration of one of our products. So we hope everyone will find something for them in today's webinar. And then we'll be sure to leave plenty of time at the end to answer your questions. So before we begin, here are some housekeeping comments. Although everyone's phone lines are muted, we do want to hear from you. We'd like to make this webinar as interactive as possible to maximize the benefit that you get out of it. So please submit your questions by typing them into the box provided. We'll do our best to answer them all. Also, this webinar is being recorded and will be added to the archive on our website at the URL shown here. We have a variety of webinars in that archive, and I encourage you to check them out. And last but not least, I invite you to subscribe to our blog, which you can find on our website. We write on a wide range of PDF-related topics, and by subscribing to it, you will receive a weekly update, which we call Tuesday's Topic. Don't miss it. And with that, I'm going to pass control of today's webinar to Mike Spang, Vice President of Research for Harvey Spencer Associates, who will discuss trends in document capture.
Okay, well, thank you very much, David, and it's great to be here today. I want to talk to you briefly about document management tools that we have now available to us that will help you improve speed, accuracy, and precision, and as you interpret the information that's coming into your organizations and organizations that you serve. Commercial says that America runs on Dunkin', but businesses run on information. And it wasn't, and today we're very, very used to working with information coming from a variety of different sources. Internet is a wonderful source of information, and we all use the internet and do searches every day. But we also have documents in electronic format. We have voice transcriptions that are digitally recorded that we have access to. Information comes to us through social media, both social media from a consumer standpoint and social media from a business standpoint. We utilize SMS messaging. We have video. We have photos. We have lots and lots of information. But not so long ago, information, and for thousands of years before that, business information was either written or it was spoken. And I do remember my father was an accountant, and he used a ledger that looks pretty similar to that paper. I remember the color of the paper, and I remember his handwriting was very, very good in that. But there's some downsides in terms of paper and the way that business had been conducted in the past. We couldn't communicate very quickly with each other. But now that we have things in electronic form, it can be moved farther, faster, it can be shared with others, and we have tools that allow for the machine reading of this information and extraction of appropriate data and bringing this information to light. So we have automated search, we have interpretations, we have classifications that can be acted on. But it also presents another problem too. And I think everyone's heard about big data and how big data is impacting the marketplace. And there's another part of big data, another subset of that called dark data, which is data that's out there, but we just can't get our arms around, we can't understand. And we have too much data and not enough time. In a recent IBM survey, 1 in 2 business leaders say they don't have the access to the information they need to do their jobs. That's half the population of the business leaders say they don't have the information they need. 1 in 3 business leaders frequently make decisions based on information they don't trust or don't have. So it's a very, very big issue in that. And to drive a data-driven culture is difficult. Of executives, according to the Harvard Business Review, according to executives that have started big data projects, only about 40% are having any success with that particular project. So we know we need to look farther and to see that we don't really need to look that far to see that we have a lot of paper in the system still, and it's not compatible with the digital age. And we can see some of the associated costs on the screen. Cost to file a document, approximately $20. Cost to fill a filing cabinet, $25,000. To maintain a filing cabinet cost $2,000 to $2,500 a year. So there's a lot of costs that are associated with this, and the expectations from your customers, your clients, and internally are very high because we live in this digital age where information, flows fairly seamlessly. So here's a diagram of the digital workplace and the digital workplace strategy. I mean, things that haven't changed are that we've had people involved, we have processes involved, and we have information involved. The way that it has changed is that technology is now allowed for the transmission of this information and the interpretation of this information through using digital means and digital technology to apply to that. If you're a business executive, you want to really focus on access and collaboration with your teams. If you're a solution provider, you need both of those things. You need the access and the collaboration, but you also need the ability to be able to integrate easily and to be able to innovate to bring new solutions to bear to the marketplace. So you need both of those different, basically you need collaboration, access, integration, and innovation to make things happen in the digital workplace. It's long been said that information is knowledge, and we need to convert all this information and all these data that we have into a knowledge base. And we know we have too much data. There used to be a day, maybe 20 or so years ago, when we were very happy when we could just convert a piece of paper into a digital image, a flat digital image, and be able to store that on a computer. But that image was unsearchable. You couldn't extract any data from that, and it really took a human to be able to read that and go through that document to be able to gain any information from that. But we need tools to be able to sort through the massive amounts of available data to find relevant information for decision making. That could be done by machines, or that could also be done aiding humans to be able to understand what's in that information. You can also go through and extract information now from documents to be placed directly into business processes. So work might involve paper-based documents that need to be converted into electronic form, or electronic-born documents that need to be interpreted. But in the end, everything needs to be in a format that's usable by both humans and potentially by machines. Once we implement tools that put structure around this unstructured data or semi-structured data, we can then sift through it. We can find and we can interpret the information we need to add value to the business process. And we got our little cartoon there. It's when they're, and the gentleman says, when you have finished arguing opinions about the best way to achieve digital transformation, I actually have data. So, and that's where we want to be. We want to actually have those data. So there's the folks from AIM, Professional Trade Association AIM, coined a term a few years back, but it's still very, very useful. There's two different ways to look at document systems that's helpful when you're planning a document management solution. One is systems of record, and the other is systems of engagement. So systems of record, we need to think about having a file, an electronic format, ready for compliance purposes, for discovery, for safekeeping, for archiving. It's generally your business records that you want to retain for these various purposes, and you may want to bring them back out and view them at some sort of future date in that. There's other documents, though, in terms of systems of engagement that really are needed to execute real-time business processes. These are the documents that could be customer-facing and enhance customer experiences. And these are the documents also that add the most value to the business process and lead to competitive advantages for your organization. So both of these are important, and it's important that we optimize the process for document understanding, document classification, and data extraction. And both of these systems can be called on to do that. So why is this important? Why is document understanding an essential part of digital transformation? And many people miss that. They jump to steps down the road in terms of their digital transformation, and they don't have their document systems, kind of the base and the groundwork done to be able to effectively utilize that information downstream in the business process. But in order to understand the information that's either in paper or electronic born documents, we need to utilize tools such as OCR, or natural language processing, to be able to search a document and quickly find that relevant information. We also have tools now available to classify documents by different document types, which also aids in understanding. Once the information is identified and understood, then we can go about extracting information from the document and taking that and input that into the proper business process. Documents can be searched effectively now. And when we take a look at these tools, we take a look at tools for understanding. That's the idea that when a machine looks at the document, they get that same type of, the goal is when the machine looks at the document that they get that same type of information from the document that it would be if a human was reading that. Classification tools, we can take documents and we can train systems to be able to tell if a document is an invoice versus a loan application. It can learn the typology, it can learn algorithms and apply machine learning to be able to do that. And then once we know everything is on the document and we understand what we have, we can go through data extraction and pull that into either directly into the business process, or we can store those data as metadata that travel along with the document for future use and reference, and go from there. So, and we can do these things more effectively, more efficiently in the digital world by going through some of these different steps. So now I'm going to turn it back to David and Karsten, and they're going to tell you about some advances that Foxit has made in enhancing document understanding and integrity. I should be turning this over
Thanks.
to Karsten.
Oh, no, to me.
Oh, sorry?
To David.
I will need to change it again.
Just keeping you on your toes.
David Ronald, presenter.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mike. That was
have it.
Yeah, that was really good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So how can Foxit Software help address some of the challenges and the needs that Mike has just discussed? So let's find out. Many people, when asked if they've heard of Foxit Software, will say no. However, when asked if they've used Chrome, Google Chrome, or Gmail, or the Amazon Kindle, almost all will respond, yes, they have. Anyone who's viewed a PDF within any of these products will have used Foxit Software. Foxit Software is powering the PDF rendering engine used by these products and many others. So billions of people are benefiting from Foxit's innovation every single day. Foxit is the #2 PDF solutions vendor in the world, and I'm sure anyone here who is familiar with the Avis car advertisements that used to run in the 80s will understand why we think that can be a good thing. We're #2, and that means we try harder. We are an established company with PDF solutions that are generally faster, more efficient, and more secure than products available to you from other vendors. Our growing company includes over 300 smart, passionate, and committed engineers, and we have an accomplished and visionary leadership. We have over 475 million users worldwide, and we have several offices around the globe. Foxit provides desktop software, mobile apps, and cloud services to make knowledge workers more productive. We also deliver software that allows enterprises to improve document management and data capture. And we offer developers tools to develop custom applications that incorporate powerful PDF technologies. Foxit provides 20 different types of product, and in this webinar, we will focus on one in the interest of time. That's our PDF compressor product. PDF compressor is a part of our enterprise automation suite. These solutions are the heart of businesses, many of them household names, and I'll give you a second or two to see which ones here you recognize. So what makes the employees at Foxit Software excited to come to work each and every day? What drives us? We all know that paper isn't dead. Documentation is overwhelming people and clogging storage systems. And as Mike has described, the problems are getting worse. There's simply too much data coming from too many sources. We're getting overwhelmed. In the early 90s, Adobe created the portable document format, PDF, portable document format, to ensure documents were rendered the same, independent of application software, device, or operating system. And this was a great advance, and we really have to thank Adobe for their innovation and leadership in this space. And as such, this advance was quickly embraced by both businesses and individuals. There has, however, been little or no innovation since the mid-2000s, so coming up for almost a decade, 8 or 9 years. And this is the world we're building. Our goal at Foxit Software is to enable everyone, from individuals to enterprises, to share knowledge anytime, on any device, intuitively and securely, and stop being overwhelmed. This is what drives the team at Foxit to excel each and every day. So with that, I'm going to pass control of the presentation to Karsten, CEO of Foxit Europe, and he will talk about some successes that customers have had with the PDF compressor product. Karsten, over to you.
Sure. Thanks, David. Thanks, Mike, also for preparing the stage we're talking about today. For sure, let me share my slides real quick. For sure, we're talking about that field, that specific field of where paper isn't dead, paper is still here, and Foxit has a lot of products in the digital world, but we also have products that are concerned at the interface between the paper and the digital world, so that we can turn our paper into actual knowledge in the end, as Mike just outlined it before. One of these products that works on the edges between paper and digital world is the PDF compressor. And Dan, right after my slides here, will introduce the PDF compressor in deeper detail to you, but I want to use the opportunity here to kind of using some customer stories here to make you a little bit more aware of where the PDF compressor actually works and what kind of project it is used. The PDF compressor itself is out there in the market in really thousands of installations, and all of these installations have in common that they are in the field of converting paper and other document formats into PDF. And here's the user story one, and as the name indicates, PDF compressor, there must be some kind of compression in there, and it is. Our user story number one today here is about a health insurance company. This health insurance company is running a centralized mailroom solution. So what that means is they do have a whole infrastructure with high volume scanners, with software that automatically understands classifies documents and understands, is it an invoice or is it an application or is it a form of this and that sort. And once it understood that, what it is, then it can also extract the relevant data from that specific forms or formats or documents and turn that data into a data set and record that then can be automatically routed into the workflows that belong to that specific document type. And use that data to actually do the document process. What's special here in this situation with this customer is they do have a centralized mailroom solutions, but actually receive their incoming physical paper-based mail in 7 nationwide distributed scan centers. So what they end up with as a task is that they have about 420 million color scanned images per year, which is actually 40 million letters coming in with an average of 3 pages, meaning an average of 3 images per incoming letter. And what it equals to is 105 terabyte in data that they receive. And these 105 terabytes are generated in their 7 nationwide scan centers, which are in total different location than their centralized mailroom solution is. So what do they need to do? Because they have to send everything through the internet. And on top of that, they have very limited service level agreements. For example, any physical mail that is received by 9 a.m. in the health insurance company, where the US Post and our big trucks drop off or dump all the mail on them, and only a couple of hours later, 3 or 4 hours later, the electronic representation of those images have to be visible in their systems, where actually the task-based worker can actually work on that in their workflow system. So the SLAs are very short. They just don't have 24 hours time, and there's a lot of data to transmit in a 2-hour time window and process it and bring it into the system. So what they needed to do in order to enable converting paper into information in this case is they had to do something in their scan centers, which they do. They use the PDF compressor from Foxit, 7 installations, 1 in each scan center. And the PDF compressor does a 100% unattended background processing here. So they actually use their IBML scanners, super large, fast scanners, digitize the paper into images, understand blank page recognition, blank page erasing of it and everything else. And then they shoot out the document. But before they're actually uploaded to the central mailroom solution, they run through PDF compressor in a very automated, totally integrated process step. Using our compression schema that is part of the PDF compressor, I only want to mention the name, really, it's MRC compression. You can look it up on Wikipedia or something like that, or whatever it does is, what it does is really compressing those scans down to much smaller files in then a PDF file. So what happens actually is that every single image, every single page of these 420 million a year is no longer 250 kilobytes plus minus an average, like a JPEG representation would be, but it's only 35 kilobyte per page. And those pages are searchable as they are PDF, and no longer just dump images, but really searchable pages, searchable documents. And that equals just only 2.1 terabyte per scan center. And of course, check, done. Now we can do it. They couldn't have done it without the compression in a setup like that. And the side effect, they get long-term archival PDF format, which is called PDFA, and they get searchable documents as a side effect, while the compression was their main way of enabling centralized turning paper into information project for them. Okay, another user story we have for the PDF compressor is about data accuracy. Data accuracy is obviously key. This is an IT service company that is owned by several different health insurance companies running a central service for them. And they do have a centralized mail room where they receive 170 million pieces of mail per year. Again, doing the same thing in their mail room solution, auto classification, data extraction, and then routing into the workflows. But obviously, when their OCR quality is like average or standard or what you know today, this results also into a lot of manual work and correcting. For example, there's a wrongly detected character in the character recognition here, and the solution might come up with a different result for the classification. It says it's an application instead of a complaint or something like that. So it routes it in the wrong workflow. Or there are manual work to do because the accuracy is just not good enough and words are wrong or not recognized at all and need to be manually keyed in or something like that. That's a very costly part of the whole mailroom workflow, let's say. So what's the solution again, and what's the customer success with this? The customer is using, in this case, 5 parallel working Foxit PDF compressor installation in one solution. They, again, compress the color scans using the MRC technology as before and save as PDF, which is just a side effect in this case. Plus, they save a pre-processed, and I'm not going to dive deep into the technology, but segmented and very clean TIFF copy from the OCR. This is kind of coming out of our MRC, that we have a black and white representation of the scan document that is much better than a black and white scan because it's reduced to the net data and there's no disturbance for the OCR result, or for the OCR to get bad results or be put off track or something like that. In this particular case, it's interesting because we have an independent consulting company from external doing a study about what the results are of pre-processing all the documents using our technology, using the PDF compressor, and it results in 15% less labor cost in the manual correction and error correction in their mailroom, which is a big amount. And they had a break even in just a few months and a real tremendous ROI since then. And again, in side effect, the archive size is just 10% of what it would be if they would have gone with JPEG from the get-go instead of the compressed PDF. So that's about data accuracy, and there's a real good ROI in that. And I want to bring up one more real quick because I'm over time, but one more use case here. That is about big data, as Mike mentioned it, and enterprise search. It's the second largest bank in Germany. It's the Commerce Bank, for those who know. They did have a backlog of 7 billion scanned TIFF images. So they already scanned their images and turned the paper records into electronic records. But these TIFF images are not searchable at all. There's a lot of unused business intelligence in that. I think that's what Mike mentioned, or Mike meant when he mentioned, what was it, dark data or something like that, because the data is sort of there, but you really can't get to it. It's inaccessible. And they came to the point where they had to do a migration of their electronic archive coming due anyway. So they had to touch all of this because of change of the underlying hardware because it was outdated, and also change of the archive management system because the software was outdated. So they need to touch it, and they used PDF compressor. They have many other PDF compressor installation, and that bank is a big customer of ours. But for this particular project, they came up with additional Foxit PDF compressor installations, some servers in parallel. Again, 100% unattended background process running over quite a while to convert all these images from dump non-searchable TIFF images into OCR, thus searchable, and by the way, compressed and PDFA long-term archival PDF files. Results of that? The long history in the 7 billion files of customer behavior can be analyzed now and used as business intelligence for steering and controlling and managing future projects. That's the whole nature of big data right here at hand when converting paper to digital. Their archives are now searchable. So with the old things, they would have to go to their index data and understand this is customer number so-and-so, it's in this record, in this file, and search and search and dig deeper. Now they can take the Google approach and just type in the number they're looking for, and they get a couple of hits there, and then they find their documents much quicker. So that's enterprise search. Also very important to have searchable files there, which the PDF compressor can give you. And then the side effect again here as well, long-term archival format PDFA instead of dumb TIFF images, searchable, and also their archive size is cut in half easily by applying this project as a side effect. Okay, I hope I could make a little bit clear on what the PDF compressor can do for you in the stage between paper and electronic records, and what the PDF compressor can do in detail is now Dan's turn to introduce to all of us. Dan, I'm going to hand you the screen.
All right, great. Thanks, Carsten. There we go. Hey, everybody. Dan Morris here, Senior Solutions Architect at Foxit. I'm going to give you a brief overview on the product PDF Compressor Enterprise, and then also followed by a brief demo just to show you the power of the tool and do a brief conversion for you. So Foxit has a desktop solution, PDF editor creator called Phantom PDF, which does a great job. Has a million different options for converting and compressing manually. So when there's need for automation on a larger scale, PDF Compressor is the perfect tool. PDF Compressor will process all data into one output file format, regardless of the original document type. It's ideal for efficient downstream processing and simpler archiving. PDF Compressor will turn all your data, whether it's scanned or born digital, into a single unifying file format. Standardizing document structure drastically will reduce the time and effort required for further processing. And it's deployed all over. As Carsten was saying, PDF Compressor Enterprise meets every requirement for professional use. Many years of development and testing mean it remains stable and is used worldwide. On the text recognition front, all PDF and PDFA files are fully text searchable thanks to integrated ABI OCR technology. And the compression we use is MRC, so it's mixed rastered content. And when I first came on board at Foxit, I wasn't familiar with this compression type, and Carsten's team showed it to me, and I was blown away. I mean, the smallest file size, it looks so crisp and is intelligent, fully searchable and indexable. So we're really proud of having that as part of our technology offering. So on conversion, organizations can process all data into one output file format, regardless of the original document type. It creates more efficient downstream processing, simpler archiving. It'll allow you to store documents efficiently by converting Office files, emails, and scanned documents to industry standard PDFs. Ensure that your documents are unaltered over time, thanks to PDFA. Spend less time managing documents and more time running the business. On sharing, scanned documents produce images that are quite large, so the resulting file sizes are hard to manage. So as we mentioned, MRC is going to reduce the file size, actually 100 to 1 or more. And smaller file sizes make it easier to share files via downloads, emails, email attachments, whatever your process is for third-party document sharing or something you have integrated in-house. It'll reduce the storage requirements and expenses and improve your document backup requirements. So on indexing, search engines can't detect content contained in scanned documents, as everyone knows, since they're images. But OCR discovers text within scanned images and makes it available to search engines. So this will shorten the time needed to locate and retrieve specific data with full searching of image files. Our super accurate OCR ensures correct search results, and the combination together of everything we're talking about, the OCR, the small file sizes, ensures just lightning fast performance. So accessibility. Accessibility allows people with disabilities who use assistive technology to have equal access to information. Accessibility has become a requirement in many government organizations and enterprises. PDF compressor can automatically generate proper PDF tags, so screen readers will better understand document content. A compressor identifies and skips over artifacts such as headers and footers, which get repeated on every page. And detects multiple columns to inform screen readers of the correct reading order. And it's enterprise ready. So larger organizations need professional grade performance, quality, and support to meet the demands they're facing every day. So Compressor provides a scalable solution designed for processing data volumes of any size. High performance to quickly process large numbers of documents, and it's really easy to deploy, manage, and integrate into existing workflows. And here's just a brief look at how it works, just a simple high-level diagram. So when you're using PDF Compressor, you can set it up to look at a directory, multiple directories. This can be something that's across your network. It can be something that's on your that's stored locally, and we also have command line and API modes, so you can integrate with other applications, or as part of the workflow, kick off another application once your conversion is complete. So basically, you're going to schedule your jobs, set them up ahead of time, point them at the directories that you want them to the source files to come from, and point them at the directories you want them to output to. It's pretty simple. So I'm going to show you a really a demo it's pretty basic, but I think it's important to just take a look at the settings and understand how the process works. So I have two folders here. If you can see my desktop, I have an input and an output folder. And in this input folder, I just have 4 scanned pages. These are just flat TIFF documents. You can tell they're skewed. Probably, if you deal with a lot of paper, this is a familiar file type for you. And so this is going to be my source folder, and this is going to be my output folder. So that's all you really need to know on the desktop front. So this is PDF Compressor, and I like to stress that it is a tool. This is something that it's set here. It's set up for anyone to be able to use, and you can set it and forget it and have it run behind the scenes. So I'm going to look at this job that I have set up here. And so when you first build a job on Compressor, first thing you'll do is click on the General tab, and you'll be able to schedule the processing time. So you can click when you want the job to start at, schedule it out. You can set duration and restart intervals. Simple as that. And then when you go to your Input tab, you can check how often you want that folder to be scanned. Well, first let me set my input folder. So here's where I set that folder. So I can browse to it. I can add a network location. I'm going to add that here. So there's our input folder, and now we can check how often we want to scan that folder for updates and changes. In this case, I'm going to merge all of those TIFF files into one PDF document. So I have that box checked. And then we have the different types of file formats to be recognized. So we have all of these different image types, all the way down to born digital documents on here. And for this job, we're just going to be looking at image files, TIFFs in particular. So on the output side, here's where we choose our output directory, which I've already done. And you choose the type of PDF output format that you'd like to use for the job. And there are many advanced output and input options. Please feel free to schedule a time or demo with us to see something full featured if this is of interest to you. On post processing, this is a really interesting and helpful part of the process. So you're able to rename the file after you've converted it. You can also choose what you want to do with that source file. From that input folder, do we want to keep that file there? Do we want to delete it and move it somewhere else? It's extremely flexible in the way that you manage your workflow. This is also where you can execute a command. So for instance, if you are converting a file over to a PDF and you had a document solution that you wanted to upload it to or post it to an FTP site, for instance, you could do that here. And here's the OCR portion of it. So this is where you can choose OCR languages, and then depending on your job, this may be a massive job that you need done quickly, and maybe indexing isn't quite as important. So I could choose fast for that. Balanced is going to allow us to have a really good balance of speed and accuracy in the OCR process. And of course, most accurate is a slower but extremely accurate way to OCR the document. And then we do have this embedding tab here where you can embed XMP data, you can set up bookmarks, a lot of advanced options. And then finally on compression, over here we have it set to our MRC standard, which is what we've been talking about throughout the session. But there are many compression options. So if you want to get granular with it, you can choose these standard options here. You can also break it down into very granular settings for lower or higher compression values. Okay. So now I'm just going to run this job, and it's going to now take those 4 tips that we looked at the beginning, convert them to PDF, combine them into one document, deskew them so they're straight, and then OCR them so their text will be searchable. I'm starting the job. You can see my cores on my machine here. It monitors those. I was using number 4 there. So now if we go to our output folder, we can see that there's a file in there. And here is our output file. So we are enabling editing. So now if the document is straight, we're able to select text within the document. And it is no longer a flat image. All right, and that's it for the demo. Thank you very much. I'm going to pass it back to David.
Thanks, Dan. That was fantastic.
Sure.
Oops. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the formal part of our webinar, and now it's time for your questions. If you haven't already submitted a question, please do so now, and you can do that by typing them into the questions box provided in the control panel. It's on the right-hand side of the screen for me, and if that's helpful. We've had a few questions already from the audience. One for you, Mike, if you're still with us, what guidance would you give? Yeah, hi. What guidance would you give when an organization is considering automating a business process?
Automating a business process is a lot around change and change management. So the first thing you need to do is to do a thorough workflow analysis to understand exactly how people are working today and how they're operating. Both you can talk to them about what they're doing, but you also need to back that up with actually observing them doing what they're doing, and then you take a look at that and work with your technology solution providers and the folks like at Foxit and that to investigate different opportunities along the way to be able to for automation. And so you may see some bottlenecks in the process that you'd like to alleviate. You might find people that are searching for information and can't find it, and that's taking up a considerable amount of time, or they're attempting to index data and they're doing that all manually. That might be another bottleneck. And then they can, and then you can find, through your technology solution providers, find some ways to be able to alleviate some of those issues.
Okay, great. Thanks. Karsten, here's a question for you, I think. We've got a small amount of paper to scan, only around 1,000 pages a month. Is PDF compressor still okay, or only suitable for larger projects?
Okay, good. I understand that question. Thanks, David, and thanks for the one who asked that question. My use cases that I presented were really just larger corporations, larger organizations with a lot of files, but the PDF compressor is actually a very scalable solution. So we have licenses that are as small as 1,000 pages a month. That's where it starts, and it can scale up to the amounts that we saw and even more. So thanks for the question again. This technology is always the same. The PDF compressor, though, can be rolled out or can be used with a license that is as small as 1,000 pages a month and goes all the way up to hundreds of millions of pages. So again, thanks for the question, and it's very suitable also in smaller projects, and the majority of our installations is in the small to mid-sized projects as well.
All right, cool. Thanks for that. All right, Dan, here's a question for you. Dan or Carson, but maybe you can take it. Dan, can PDF compressor convert multiple file types at once?
Yep, absolutely. If you recall in that input tab at the beginning of the demo portion, there were a multitude of file types that you could select, and so yeah, even if you have mixed contents inside of a single directory, it can still detect and convert based on how you have your strategy set up.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Oh, by the way, we've had a few questions from members of the audience about the webinar, and just to reiterate, we are recording this webinar, and we will archive it on our website, and I'll show the URL after, and we should have that up maybe tomorrow, Friday, and if not, it'll be up on the website on Monday. Okay, Mike, back to you, I think.
Sure.
You discussed systems of record and systems of engagement. Is there a crossover between the two systems where information used for customer-facing applications would eventually reside in systems of record? So systems of record and systems of engagement.
Okay. Well, thanks for the question. And so many times we go through more of the real-time customer-facing processes, and we're able to, better serve the customer that way. We're able to take care of their needs, more quickly when we're running applications in real time in front of them and being able to make a decision. For example, a decision on a loan process, and you're able to speed up that process. That gives you a competitive advantage over other lenders, and you would be able to do that more real time, more in front of the customer. But once all that process is done, and we would call that part of a system of engagement. Once that is done, those records are going to need to be stored and archived, and so those records will then need to move over into the systems of record for compliance purposes, for audits, and for and just for general information on that particular loan, giving loans as an example in this particular case. So it could go from being part of systems of engagement and then move over into systems of record. Another thing, though, too, is that we're seeing with predictive analytics increased interest in stored archived documents that are being brought back out, and analytic systems really need data to be able to feed on. So we see them going from that direction and being pulled back out and put into predictive analytics and potentially into systems of engagement. So it can cross over both ways.
All right, great, thanks. Here's a question which I'll take. How long has Foxit been in business, and how many employees do you have? So we've been around since 2001. That's when we were founded. We've been in the US, where I am and everyone on the call is today, since 2008, and we have over 450 employees. Another question from the audience. is can maybe Carsten, you could take this one. Can HTML pages in parentheses pages saved from websites, i.e. HTML complete, close parenthesis, be saved as PDF files with the embedded links to external documents, etc., remaining intact in the PDF?
The answer is yes. The answer is also that needs a little. So HTML is a supported input file format. That is on the list, so we can first of all do it. Secondly, it needs a little extra settings, or especially not all of the PDF standards versions support external linking. Some of them do, and a couple of other settings. So I would strongly suggest that you just go to the webpage, foxitsoftware.com, click on products and PDF compressor, get your free trial download, and then consult with us. I think our contact information will be on the last slide. Consult with us about the settings. We'll help you forward to actually get your settings straight, and then below the line, lots of options, but the easy answer is yes, it can be done that way.
Okay, great. Here's another one for you, Carsten. What about PDF compression on a compressed Adobe PDF? Any loss of quality? And what relationship of compression to DPI? What is the relationship of compression to DPI?
Yeah. Oh, that's actually a good one, but it's also a very technical one. So better buckle up. So situation is when we scan or when we get scans that are 300 dpi, that's the resolution that is most suitable and comforts the OCR mostly. So you can do OCR on 200 dpi as well. You can do it on 600 dpi. That takes longer, but doesn't provide extra value in the recognition rates. So 300 dpi is kind of an important threshold, an important resolution for that. When we apply compression, we explicitly don't reduce the resolution at all. Compression is very easy. I always keep saying you just leave something out and it gets smaller. So some of the compression engines, including the Adobe ones, will look into that and say, well, 300 dpi is very comfortable. Maybe 200 dpi will also do it. And the file gets smaller by reducing the resolution. But the OCR in the end will really say nothing good about that, because that will decrease the OCR recognition ratios and confidence levels and accuracy. So what we do instead is the MRC compression. That's something that we patented already in 1998. It goes all that way back. I don't want to take a deep dive into the technology. If somebody's interested in that, reach out to me. We have a lot of information about that. And we do visually lossless compression. This compression is not mathematically pixel identical lossless, but for all the purposes that our archival documents have and all the purposes that OCR has, these are optimized, super small documents there where you will see no visual degradation at all. With regards to pre-compressed documents, the best input you could give is the uncompressed or low compressed. When you already have high compressed, then we still keep it in a visual lossless appearance, but the compression ratios are below the line, not as big as if you would feed the almost uncompressed or freshly scanned image right into the PDF compressor rather than into another compression engine and then in our compression engine. But it can still be done, and I'm very positive that as long as it is not super compressed in resolution, we can get something very good out of it for you. Give it a try. Again, download the product, give it a try, reach out to us. If you don't get the expected result, we're going to help you forward with the settings.
Okay, great. Thanks for that, Carsten. Dan, here's a question for you. Is there a way to manage source files after they've been converted?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a setting in the post-processing portion of the software that will allow you to keep the original source file, delete it, move it, and so on. So you can, you can rename files, you can move files. There's a lot built in standard to the software, and there's also a lot you can do using some of the more command line portion and the API portions of the application.
All right, thanks. Another one for you. Can password encryption be added during the batch conversion process?
Yes, I meant to show that actually. Yeah, there's a also in the for the output side, if you go to the advanced options there are encryption options. So you can absolutely set username and password and encrypt these files as you convert them.
All right, great, thanks. Karsten, back to you. Is your software compatible with old PDF files that were created 15 years ago? I've got an archive of very old PDFs.
Yes. Yes. Answer is yes. So whatever PDF is it, PDF 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, that is resulting from the days of Acrobat Reader, whatever, 5 or something like that. It's still PDF, and we read them all. We would then compress them, output them, make them searchable if you want, and write them again as PDFA or ISO 32000, which is PDF 1.7 or something like that. So we can read them all. We have seen it all. This solution is pretty mature. The PDF compressor is out in the market for quite some years. It has seen any potential mailroom project and configuration, any potential input file type, including really heavily damaged, bad TIFF files and PDFs from the old days and whatnot, and we can read them all in because we're really field tested. There's billions and billions of documents processed in all the file types of this world using the PDF compressor tool.
Okay, great. I think we're getting a bit short on time. I'd like to wrap up at the top of the hour. We have 3 minutes, so we'll just do one more question. Thank you for all the questions. We've only been able to get through a half, if that, of the questions. So we'll reach out to people individually after the webinar's over to answer the questions. So one last question. I'll give this to you, Karsten. What is the accuracy of your OCR?
How many hours do we still have? Because that's a tough question. That's really a tough question in the end. So I know, but it's really hard to say. So first of all, define what's the accuracy of the OCR. The accuracy of the OCR is like the percentage of correctly detected characters, or words, or paragraphs, or pages. So and that is not yet defined. So on the other hand, what you have to see is that there is a certain number of original OCR engines out there in the market. People have known names like Abby or Nuance or some else. What we did in the PDF compressor, though, is we do apply a lot of pre-processing steps, segmentation, as one mentioned, or other pre-processing steps that help prepare the input images for the OCR. So what we do is we have an original scan, but then there is a lot of noise in there, or there's images on that, and a lot of stuff that throws off images, throws off the OCR, and thus reduces the accuracy by not being a character or something like that. And our pre-processing pre-filters the documents, and our PDF compressor achieves higher rates of accuracy than the original OCR engine would do, using it originally from the manufacturer. So I'm pretty confident. We went through the PDF compressors and many mailroom solutions, and I have that slide where the manual labor, because of the pre-processing, is reduced. In other words, the OCR accuracy is up. So this is a long topic we could discuss. I might leave it with you getting some real best-in-class software using the PDF compressor.
Okay. All right, great, thanks. Let's move on. As I mentioned earlier, our goal at Foxit Software is to enable everyone, from individuals to enterprises, to share knowledge anytime on any device intuitively and securely. And we've developed over 20 different types of product to enable you to achieve that goal. We focused our webinar today on the PDF compressor, just one of those 20 products, and in next month's webinar, we'll look at Rendition Server. Although we're still pulling the webinar together, the working title is SOS. There's PDF Chaos in the Enterprise, and that title was proposed by a colleague, and I must say it's a great one. So please join us on November 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific for that. And again, there were a few questions today about this webinar, where to find it subsequently, and as I said at the top, it is being recorded, and it's going to be uploaded to our website at the URL shown there. Hopefully tomorrow, and certainly by Monday. So That brings us to the end of the webinar. We're just a minute over. Mike, Karsten, Dan, and I would like to thank you for joining us today. We know you had many choices about how to spend the past hour and are very happy that you chose to spend the hour with us. We really appreciate it. We do hope you found this webinar to be informative and I hope you feel that it was a productive use of time. We'd love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out to any of the four of us if you have questions that we didn't have time to answer. And we will reach out to people who did submit questions to us through the questions panel, which we didn't answer. And also, if you have any suggestions for topics you'd like us to cover in future webinars, feel free to reach out to me. And that's it. So thanks everyone for joining. Goodbye for now.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.